Please welcome psychologist Dr. Jeff Gadir, who earns his money. Let me tell you, this man is so good. Educational consultant, consciously, and social activist, Laysie. Welcome to the show, beautiful Black people.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
No, thanks for being here. I love that we can have these conversations here at Fox Soul. So just out the gate, I want to just check on y'all. How are y'all enjoying the start of your new year? Is it feeling better than 2020? Or is 2021 just 2020 Junior?
You know what? I woke up this morning, so it is feeling better. The fact that we can keep going on. But look, let's be honest here. When we thought that we can go into 2020 and slide on into 2021 and everything was going to magically be better, we don't understand how a pandemic works, how it affects our mental health, how it works politically, socioeconomically, as far as oppression, as far as prejudice. Now we're starting to see how it opens up, and the fact that we are dealing with white supremacy that was not only in the White House, but is also in the halls of Congress, is in the Senate, and we are going to be dealing with, including issues with vaccines, including everything else we're dealing with as far as partisanship politics. We are in for a heck of a ride. So strap on in, because that Bronco is going to be bucking for quite some time. Things will be revealed that we have been waiting to see in ways that will actually blow our minds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You said a word. Laysie, what are you thinking?
Yeah, pretty much said it all. Basically, with the new year coming, I know everyone's like, new year, new me, but new year, same systems, same pandemic, same racist infrastructure. Nothing changed except for people's eyes being open more to it, which I can say is a positive thing, but that doesn't mean that we're automatically going to start off with a blank slate, because we're not. We still have to break down these walls of oppression. We still have to fight through and get people to actually listen to what we need to be doing to stop this pandemic in order to make it a new year and like a new me type of phase.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, hopefully we get there.
Right. George Lee.
How we say in the hood everywhere, had that same energy. From 2016 to 2020, we seen a whole bunch of people invested in the political system when it was their ops. You feel me? We had a whole bunch of political labor from Black women in our community that was poured into the political system, and we want to have that same energy. So when liberals and Democrats was really invested in what Donald Trump had going on, was putting the magnifying glass to what he was doing, I need that same energy when it comes to the political process and with the Democrats and liberals that promise Black folks. You feel me? It was a very elegantly written plan. What's it called? The Lift Every Voice plan? But shit, I want to see the political, social, economic stuff that you promised to us. I want you to have that same energy. And I think that what we always worried about in the Black community is that you're going to come around here every 4 years and treat me like you want to, you know what I'm saying, want to do something with me. And then after the election time is over with, you move around and then you come back around. It's like, can you sustain that same tenacity, that same passion you had with using our labor to get these folks in office? Is you going to have that same energy with reciprocating what we gave to you? And that's how I'm feeling this morning. Like what I said this morning, tonight.
Okay. I like the vibe of the show already. We're gonna get into it. Now, I'd like each of you to quickly tell our viewers a little something about yourself and some of the work you've done in the community. Whoever wants to start first can just go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, I'll start first. I'm George Lee, aka Conscious Lee. Don't forget the Lee. I've done a lot of work in terms of educating. Currently, right now, I'm a 9th and 10th grade English teacher at an inner city school in Oklahoma City. And when it comes to just what the public education system is doing to our students in terms of prioritizing standardized tests over creating humans, I feel like that's a lot of the work that I'm doing currently right now. And then past work I've done is work with different debate institutes and different inner cities with being able to bring political advocacy as well as debate skills to different people in different communities. Shout out to everybody in East Oakland. Shout out to everybody in East and West Baltimore.
You know what? I just got to give you your props for being a Black man and being an educator, because, my brother's a teacher and he's in Boston, and I know how tough it is for y'all. And a lot of yes, He's constantly dealing with the bullshit, okay? And y'all have, there's not enough of y'all, and we need y'all so much. We need Black male teachers in schools, you know what I mean? Like, we need y'all. So kudos to you for choosing that path, for real.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm also a professor at a university, but that's not the, you know what I'm saying? When I'm chilling with my middle class white students, you feel me? I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do what I can in terms of being anti-racist and things like that. But when it comes to the community, you feel me? Shout out to East Baltimore, shout out to West Baltimore, East Oakland.
I know we have to say, like, not be anti-racist, but like, I feel like we're not. I feel like we're all the things that we say are usually in defense of the stuff that they've done to us. So I don't even call that, when people say, oh, Black people are racist too, I'm like, nah, mama, we responded to the bullshit y'all did to us. So you can miss me with that, because for every action is a reaction. We just a reaction to your active bullshit. That's what that is. My opinion, you know. Laysie, tell us a little bit about yourself and some of the work that you've done in the community.
Hello, I'm Laysie, and basically I am come through my platform as social media, and so I've been educating like the younger viewers and everything through TikTok and Instagram with my political justice rants and educational videos. But before that, I actually started off in my social justice platform by taking a knee at my college. I was a D1 cheerleader at Southern Illinois, and I took a knee during the national anthem. So that is what, you know, shot my platform to where it is today. And from there, I started mentoring programs and tutoring programs with like the Black boys at the basketball team in the junior high, and like programs from freshman year to senior year in high school, Black women, in order to get them started on the path for college and making sure students know that college is an option and ways we can work in order to get to college, and basically just educating our youth is what I've mainly done, whether it's, you know, through Boys and Girls Club or like the mentoring programs, or just educating through the TikTok videos and being able to connect with the younger viewers. I don't know why I'm saying younger viewers like I'm that old, but the people younger than me too, but I'm 22, by the way. So basically connecting to people my age and younger, and that's what I do for my community.
Laysie, did you get a lot of pushback for taking that knee?
Yes, a lot, to say the least. I've actually go to school in, like I said, Southern Illinois, and the surrounding areas are sundown towns and very racist, Confederate flags everywhere. So I got pushback not only from the surrounding towns, but my teammates, the administration, literally everyone you can think of. It was not very fun.
You know what's funny? The dramatics that this country gave to Colin Kaepernick and all the other folks that followed suit and took a knee, right? Nobody tripped when white Tim Tebow took a knee.
Did it for like abstinence or something?
Doing in the name of the Lord.
What does that have to do with abortion against abortion? What does that have to do with the NFL? Has nothing to do with the game. You know what I mean? And it just like, if protesting doesn't belong in sports, like you said, consciously keep that same energy. Don't just, not just when the Black activists do it. It's unbelievable. Now
that's that textbook American exceptionalism.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Now, Dr. Jeff, we work together, and I see you all the time. Like, before I work with you, I'm like, I already know him, because I just feel like I know you from TV. You've done a lot. So tell us about some of the work you've done in the community.
Yeah, I'd like to say I've been taking a knee my whole life, because I've been, in many ways, the only Black person in the room for a very long time. Thank God that doesn't happen anymore, because we have young people like Consciously and certainly Laysie, who's with us, and you, of course, Claudia, who's broken many barriers. So, thank you for everything that you do. I basically have a private practice. I work in the New York area. I'm also an ordained minister now. And as well, I teach behavioral medicine at the Touro College of Osteopathic Medicine, an associate professor there, and working a lot with the school, not just on teaching psychiatry, but also in working around issues of implicit bias, explicit bias, working with our medical students and our pharmacy students to be more culturally sensitive and more culturally competent. So one day we can finally erase the health disparity that we see in this country that has caused us as Black and brown people, Black people, Latinx people, to be disproportionately affected, not just by disease, not just by heart disease, but most importantly right now by COVID-19.
I saw a horrible video on social media. yet another example of the disparity when it comes to medicine and health. And a Black man went into the hospital complaining about anxiety, and they're like, are you dying? And just like being real condescending to him. And they don't want to send us home with pain medicines, and just the way that they don't take our pain seriously, like we're just these super beings, or we're just not to be taken. It's really disgusting. So I'm really happy that we have the three of you here doing the work that you do. And I just wish you'd see more of these examples on television. You know what I mean? Like, y'all are highly educated. You're educators. You're in the health field, mental health. Like, I just love to see it. So kudos to y'all. So you're all very outspoken and like to discuss some of the, I like to discuss some of the powerful statements that y'all made online. I love when people are brave and fearless. I just love it. So we're gonna start, Laysie, with you, and let's take a look at your video.
Not be a supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement and be homophobic. It's point blank, period. The Black Lives Matter movement was made for all Black lives. So therefore, you cannot say that you support all Black lives, but not the gay ones, not the trans ones, not the bi ones, not the pansexual ones. That's not how this works. So say it with your chest. Say that you are a bigot and say, I only support lives if they are cis and straight. And baby girl, I would not be screaming to the rooftops that you're homophobic. That shit's disgusting and embarrassing, and it makes you look stupid and idiotic.
Well, there it is. Now, Laysie, why do you feel the LGBTQ plus community is often neglected in the BLM movement?
Well, I just feel like obviously it's, the internalized homophobia, or just homophobia in general in the community, which is a problem in itself. But the fact that the BLM movement was made by Black LGBTQ women to make a movement that makes not only straight Black men, but all Black people, whether they're women, non-binary, gay, straight, whatever it is, make sure that they are all fought for when it comes to police brutality or white supremacy, and people are trying to keep them out of the conversation. Like, for example, Tony McDade, may he rest in peace, was a transgender Black man who was killed around the same time all this other stuff was going on with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, but his name wasn't being shouted to the rooftops as well, even though we had to fight for Breonna Taylor's name to be screamed because she was a Black woman, but he was a trans Black man. So I feel like the conversation is always steered towards straight Black cis men, and everyone else is like put on the back burner. So I was there to make sure everyone is fought for. We are fighting for all Black lives, and all Black lives matter. And you can't say all, but then say but not, or except, because then that's not all. Intersectionality is the word here, and people love to pretend like it doesn't exist. Me, myself, my existence is intersectional. I am Black, yes. I am a woman, yes, but I'm also bisexual, so I'm a part of the LGBT community. So I have 3 different minorities on my back. But you're going to tell me only fight for the Black, only fight for the Black, nothing else. So you're saying ignore my women's rights, ignore my rights as LGBTQ, and just fight for Black. That's saying that I don't matter to you. The only people that matter are cis, straight Black men, and that is an issue. We're fighting for the Black community as a whole and not just sections of it.
Man, I've been preaching this for a while about how we got to stop dividing ourselves. We are trying to water ourselves down to one small one small group, and that's it. And we are so many things. Like, the Black community is we have such a spectrum of colors, of shades, of sexuality, of how we identify, and all of that. And we can't just pick and choose the one that we gonna cap for, because that's just as whack as the oppressors and what they're doing to us.
Exactly.
Right? So, Dr. Jeff, before we go break, I want to definitely ask you the inspiration for this video you posted after the election. Let's take a look.
Congratulations, America. We finally have a result in this presidential election. And boy, that's going to go a long way in relieving a lot of that post-election stress we've all been going through. And it's also time for us to come together in healing ourselves and our country and the world.
Dr. Jeff, we have to take a quick break, but when we come back from break, I want to come right back to you and ask you, what this video was all about, where you're coming from, and why you did it. We'll be right back with more Out Loud on Fox Soul when we return. Welcome back to Out Loud right here on Fox Soul. Okay, Dr. Jeff, before we went to break, we showed your video that you made after the election. Can you talk about the inspiration behind it?
Well, that was all about the nation being divided by this whole idea, this false claim that the election was stolen from Donald Trump. It was a calling cry to bring out white supremacists, to bring out people who I felt were mentally manipulated. And it was an attempt to delegitimize the presidency, the coming presidency of Joe Biden. And by the way, this was before the insurrection at the Capitol. And so we didn't even see how bad things were going to get at that point. We knew that things were very sick, that people were very angry, that a lot of hate was being sowed at that point. So I thought by actually saying the election, okay, it's legal, we got it, President Biden won, that was the beginning of the healing. And I think Biden is doing that healing. But as we can see, the situation is getting more and more complex as to what is happening now with regard to the GOP and with Democrats and everyone else.
It is amazing that these GOP members are not embarrassed about the insane amount of ass kissing they're doing. Like, I'm like, are y'all not embarrassed about what y'all are looking like right now? Like, I will say this, when people say there's no difference, there is a difference. I'm gonna tell you it's one difference. I remember when Al Franken, the senator from Minnesota, when he had some old comedy stuff come out, we immediately held him accountable, and the Democrats put the pressure on him to get out. The GOP lets whatever fly. They stay on code together. They let it all fly. They don't give a damn what you do. They just stay on code. It's unbelievable how they just won't get off the teats of Donald Trump. I'm gonna say that consciously. You posted this video regarding the deadly raid on the Capitol. Let's take a look.
Boys getting charged with that stormed the nation's capital, and let's just say I got homeboys and family members that's locked up for triple the amount of time for non-violent victimless crimes, man. I know people that's been incarcerated for about 40-year sentences, 50-year sentences for selling dope. You know what I'm saying?
They can hear that in TV land. We couldn't hear that. So can you just, were you surprised to see this mob, how they followed the orders of Donald Trump?
I wasn't surprised, but I was pissed off. Mm-hmm. You gotta understand, I'm born and raised in Texas and I live in Oklahoma. So everybody being lost in the sauce of Trumpism is something that I've seen for the last 4 years. You feel me? Like it really surprised me. What pissed me off though is that when I'm on social media and I'm making videos about Black suffering and Black presence, it's usually the idea about conforming to the law and people being able to use fear as a way to say, hey, that death was justified. The fact that nobody felt fear to pull a trigger, the fact that nobody's talking about conforming to the law, it pissed me off. You know what I'm saying? It really sit with me right, especially because the day that the insurrection happened, the day before, I think Wisconsin said that, you know what I'm saying, was Jordan Blake, the dude that was walking from, they said that shooting was justified because law enforcement, you know what I'm saying, had the legal rationale to feel like that their life was in threat. You know what I'm saying? And now this feel like it just showed the conservative contradictions and how there is an exceptionalism to ethics and to having respect for authority. Because you say respect the blue and blue lives matter. You ain't had that energy when you ran up in that old Capitol like that.
Well, now we all know it's all BS. It's all bullshit because they're more afraid of a Black woman or a Black man holding a cell phone or some Skittles than they are of a white man with an semi-automatic weapon. And that's that. That's what it is. They're never fearful of these people, and they over here threatening to kill them, and we over here trying to get home from school or from work. You know what I mean? It's so blatant. It's just so blatant. So let's get into some hot topics. I want your viewpoint on some hot button issues and topics concerning the community. The pandemic is straining everyone's emotional well-being. That's definitely a fact. But mental health and therapy continue to be viewed as taboo in the Black community. How do we fix this?
That we take advantage of telehealth. This is something that started before the pandemic, Claudia, but now it's really been signed, sealed, and delivered, as Stevie Wonder would say. We're using it more and more, reaching out to people in urban, suburban, and the farmlands. We're promoting therapy as much as possible. We're out there doing workshops. people like Consciously and Laysie are talking about the importance of going to therapy, the importance of being able to address your issues in a constructive and therapeutic way. And now I'm seeing more than ever in my practice, people of color coming in. And I know that we're seeing many more Black therapists out there who are working with many more Black and brown patients. So we're moving in the right direction, and we're starting to smash that stigma.
And please, Black community, our elders, stop thinking you can pray everything away. Sometimes you do need a professional. Okay, man, it's okay. It's okay. Now, the LAPD is investigating a racist Valentine's Day image that was distributed with an image of George Floyd and the words, "You take my breath away." What can we do to address racism in law enforcement besides burn that whole thing down and start over again because it's trash?
Man, hey, I'm a debate coach, and I think that, argumentation is a manifestation of education, and my motto is education is elevation. I'm more on board with trying to convince people that there is really nothing salvageable about the way the policing is structured right now, and this to make sure, because I know I got some police people that's watching right now, and I'd be a fool to think that, COINTEL 2.0 ain't started. So listen, I ain't got no beef with you, you feel me? I'm an educator in a shitty public education system. I think that the public education system is very shitty. However, I believe the work that I do in that, is valuable. But it doesn't change that the nature of the work that I'm doing is still in a shitty system, right? So me being a teacher, being able to make a criticism about the system I'm in, it doesn't call into question my complete presence as a teacher. With that being said, I think it is just more productive to be able to talk about why there is a need to not reform, restructure, like let it go, burn it down, build it back up. And I feel like I should be careful with how I'm using this language, but shit, at this point, it is what it is. And them folks that seeing all my videos, so they know how I think it is what it is.
In other words, police officers, you can do good work in a crappy system and try your best to make a difference and not just go along with it and ignore the blatant, obvious disrespect and infractions that you see happening against Black people of color, just folks, y'all know what it is. Okay, and Laysie, this one I think is definitely one for you to be a good one for you. There's been a number of disturbing murders of Black trans women, yet homophobia and transphobia keeps these crimes out of the news. We rarely hear about these things unless it's for, social media. How do we address this issue?
We first have to address the issue by making trans women and trans men not seen as not people. People are so quick to make them be seen as other beings or just less than human, which puts the same way when slave owners would make Black people seem as less than human to justify what they were doing to them. If you're making trans people seem as less than human, you're justifying the behaviors and the lash and stuff that they get. You have to see them as human, one, because you don't have to, I'm not telling you to sit here and you have to completely understand and justify non-binary people and transgender people, because you don't have to do that. You don't have to completely understand each and every aspect of it. But what you do have to do is respect the fact that they are people and they're just trying to live their truths. And the fact that you're murdering someone for either the way they look, the way they are, who they like, is just really weird. And the fact that it's mostly up from transgender people of color, especially transgender women of color, it just shows the amount of minorities stacked against them. I'm pretty sure their life expectancy is up to 36 right now for trans women of color. That in itself is such an issue, but the fact that you guys see that and will pass it off because you don't see trans women as women and you don't see them as human, that is a problem. And we have to address the root, which is internalized homophobia and transphobia, because you feel like if you have to see them as human in the Black community, that somehow means that you're now gay. And that is an issue. Being gay, one, there's nothing wrong with being gay. Two, just because you identify someone as a person and you can see you're a person and deserve human rights, that doesn't mean that you are now gay. And that's an issue. That's an issue. People think that being gay is a problem and it's trying to demean you as a Black man, mostly Black men. If you are a gay Black man, you are still a man. You are still a Black man, regardless of your sexuality. There's nothing wrong with being gay, and being gay doesn't diminish your manhood. So we have to start there. And the internalized homophobia that makes people lash out at the thought of people even thinking you're gay, or lash out at the thought of even finding a transgender woman attractive, because those are the issues. People attack trans women because of their internal thoughts and how they personally feel when they see those trans women. And that's the issue. it's an internal issue. It has nothing to do with trans women.
I had a misstep with my language with pronouns one time, and I invited, as a way of showing my sincere apologies and wanting to learn, members of the trans community onto my radio show in Dallas. One of them drove like 16 hours to sit in with me, and we took calls in a very conservative state of Texas. And it was one of the most amazing experiences I had. I was glad to be able to do it, because the longer we spoke, like, the more you see the similarities. You know what I mean? And people were like, it took the mystique away, it took away the, like you're saying, they don't look, not viewed as human, which is ridiculous, right? And once you take away your perception of that you think is a gimmick or whatever you were brought up to think it was, you start listening about heartbreak and stress and anxiety and things that we all deal with. It was just like, oh, you're just like me, except you're outside or whatever. I think we need to stop leading with sexuality and stop judging people based on that. Like, people need to stop doing that, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
And if I just add to it, I just think that us straight people, us cisgender straight people, I feel like we have the role to be able to talk to certain people, right? What I recognized about white supremacy is privilege and power tends to only want to listen to privilege and power. And it's usually a reason why historically white folks has been saying the same things that black folks been saying for centuries, get up and say it, and it's like, And what I found from men on social media as a straight cisgender person, that when I talk about the livelihood of trans women, the livelihood of pansexual, non-binary people, is usually able to, I feel like, hit the ears of my fellow cis straight people ears a little bit differently. And I think that you have to be willing to sacrifice and or step out and be a real accomplice, not an ally, but be willing to lose some shit. Because what I found is that because I speak out against particular issues, what Laysie was saying, it would be a certain pathology that say, well, because you speak for trans women, this obviously means you're down low and like want to be with trans women over gay men. It's like, hey, listen, I'm a grown ass man. I have no time to deal with you and your middle school shenanigans. This is what it is. You feel me? If it's black power and you for black people, you account for black people in every way that we are positioned. You feel me? Sex, gender, class, ability, all that shit. If you're not doing that, you just have white supremacy and blackface. Congratulations, you played yourself.
Wow.
Exactly.
We had a couple of YouTube comments I just want to share with y'all. Tony says, these young people are bright leaders. And Adam C says, I love everything about Foxhole. Great show tonight. One last question. We're out of time, but I just want to ask y'all if you can answer with one word, if possible. Most important thing for us to watch going forward?
Behavior.
Okay.
You can look at a person, everything that they say, but at the end of the day, look at the behavior. That'll tell you everything you need to know.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with power. Power, rest in peace, Huey P. Newton. Power is the ability to define the phenomenon and make it act in a desired manner. We better be paying attention to power to define it and make it act in a desired manner.
I guess your internal mindset, just constantly watching yourself and how you view things and constantly changing with the world around you, whether it be like your mental stability, so always going after like therapy and everything, or just changing your mindset because what used to be politically correct is not now politically correct, and just making sure you're constantly changing with the times.
Thank you so much. Y'all are awesome. And I love that we were able to have y'all bless our platform tonight. I really am appreciative of all three of you. I want to thank Dr. Jeff Gadir, Consciously, and Laysie for joining me tonight.